Welcome to Love, Learn, Laugh. If you're new here, oh, okay. Hi guys. So obviously we got, What's up, friends? Welcome back to Love, Learn, Laugh. If you are new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing for future updates on my videos. So today we are gonna do a real talk. I wanna chat with you guys about something that has been very important to me, especially in the last few years. And this is on the topic of mindfulness. I wanna share with you guys how I've been incorporating mindfulness, the journey to mindfulness, which has been a several-year journey and it will continue for the rest of my life, but how I'm also incorporating this in Kai's life. My big picture dream is that by incorporating mindfulness and that others are doing the same and teaching their children, that we bring up a generation of thoughtful, caring, loving individuals who can have a ginormous impact on the way we live our lives, the way we treat each other, and the way we treat our environment. I was really feeling the need to come on here and chat with you guys about this because I've already seen some pretty amazing results just by the little bits I've been introducing to Kai thus far. And it's practical and functional things that are simple and effective, and hopefully you can incorporate it with your kids or pass it along to someone that you think might benefit, because it's helped with parenting and it's also helped with Kai dealing with being 2, which is a crazy time, as you guys know. Yeah, let's just get into it. So many of you guys don't know this, but my dad actually passed away 3 years ago, and it was such a fast and furious experience. It was completely unexpected. So it took us all completely by surprise, and we all had a lot of trauma and emotions and frustration to work through during this time. I would say that's when my journey began. I actually turned to a book called The Power of Now. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of this book. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. I will leave it down in the description box below to check out. It changed my life. That book gave me the strength and the perspective to get through the 9 days in which my dad was hospitalized to when he passed away. That book taught me the basics of being present and being mindful and aware of what I'm thinking and what I'm perpetuating, and how to deal with that and really be in touch with what's going on internally and making decisions to help keep my body in balance, to keep my mind in balance. All of these things are so important in order to deal with the stresses that are going to come up in life, and of course with parenting and the crazy days that we have. And how do we model that for our children so that they see when things don't go as planned, that we can take a breath, gather ourselves, and really move on, move forward, put one foot in front of the other and keep chugging. So the journey kind of continued on. Shortly after my dad passed away, Mike and I were talking about starting our family and trying to get pregnant with Kai. So I started to see the effects of mindfulness enter my life in so many different aspects, ways I had not been paying attention to prior. For instance, choosing the foods that I was putting into my body, especially when I'm trying to get pregnant. I really wanted to eat a clean diet and stay away from, you know, refined sugars, obviously, alcohol, and limit the caffeine. So we did a detox. We did like a 2-week, I think it was closer to a month actually, a month detox, just to sort of restart our body. And that is amazing. There's a lot to be said about that. What you put in your body and how you feel. That's a whole nother topic for a different time. I mention that because every little decision we make makes a big difference. So what you choose to snack on, or, you know, eat on your lunch break, or whatever it may be, has a big impact on how we function, how we feel, and ultimately how we treat those around us. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So making sure that you are taking care of yourself is first and foremost, so that you can take care of everyone else that you love around you. So it's not just what we choose to snack on, right? It's the other little decisions we make. How do we react when our child does something that we don't like or appreciate, or that we ask them not to do 10 times? You know, how do we react? And what I've found is that by practicing mindfulness day in and day out, it helps me be a better parent, a better wife, a better friend, and a better person. And I screw it up freaking royally, constantly. I mean, that's just part of life. We're freaking human. We're gonna blow it. But I think that's not what matters. What matters is that we come back and we keep trying, right? Like it's the effort that counts. You show up each day and you try to be better than you were the day before. So obviously we got pregnant with Kai, and when Kai was born, this journey doesn't stop, it continues. In fact, it was even more so important. But what did that look like the first few days we had Kai in our home? The focus really was just to be aware of his immediate environment. Was it a loving environment? Was it a calm environment? Was too much bright light in his face? Was it too much noise? This and that. And you can't control everything as much as we'd want to, especially with your first child. It's like everything has to be crazy, perfect. And then you have another one and I'm sure you're just like, that's not how life works. The point is just thinking about someone else's experience, right? And being mindful and aware of how you're impacting other people. It's that simple. And as he got older, we really wanted to start introducing nature and listening, being aware of what it's like to be outside and just stop for a moment and listen. We don't listen enough to each other in life. You know, these are all very important, basic, foundational skills that like set us up to be amazing humans. But as life happens, sometimes we forget these like foundational aspects. It's wonderful for us to go back and relearn these lessons because Mike and I, like, yeah, sometimes we need to stop and listen to each other. So it's great. Let's take Kai outside. Let's just be quiet and let's listen. What are the birds doing? You know, is the wind blowing? Just taking a moment to be still and really feel however we feel in that moment. Which brings me to probably the most functional piece that we have taught Kai thus far, and that has had the greatest impact on our day-to-day lives. And that's breath. How to breathe through frustration, how to breathe through anger, and how to give yourself some space to process what's happening before we react, before we choose to say something else. You guys know the age 2 to 3 especially, but I'm sure it travels beyond there, is just chaos. I mean, these kids are growing so freaking fast. Their hormones are all over the place. It is like dealing with someone who is not on medication, that should be on medication. It's just, you don't know what you're going to get in any given moment. And this is a new experience to an extent for us. I mean, obviously I work with children and I've seen them melt down, but I never had to live with them. I didn't have to deal with it day in and day out. And so it tests us just like it would test any other parent. And I mean, some days breath is just not enough and a glass of wine is, but that's neither here nor there. What we've started asking Kai to do when he gets frustrated is to take a breath, and we will model it. We'll literally inhale. And what's beautiful is that he is doing that. He's doing that when he gets frustrated, and he's able to stop in the middle of full-blown meltdowns and take at least one breath for us. He'll take one breath for us. And I'm so proud of him in those moments because I don't want someone telling me what to do when I'm frustrated. And I'm sure the same goes for him. But the fact that he can hear me despite like the crazy emotions that are going on in his body, he can hear me and he can process the information. And then he also chooses to take that advice or instruction and do it because he knows that it's going to benefit him now. He feels better when he breathes, and it literally brings a tear to my eye thinking about it because it's just such a beautiful thing, and it's a nice reminder for us parents. Just breathe. Teaching it to our children, like sometimes you just need to take a step back and take that breath. I encourage you parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, share this piece of advice with someone. It's so simple, but it's like really profound, and it's had such a crazy impact on all of our lives. And thinking about how if that one little thing has made such a huge impact, like what else can we incorporate and show our children on a daily basis that's gonna set them up for success, right, in the future? What skills are we helping them learn to deal with some of life's crazier, more frustrating situations that are bound to happen, you know? So if we can do this at such a young age, just imagine what decades of practice would look like in our little children today. And I just get so freaking excited about that because we're setting them up for success. I would love for every parent to gift their child or their friends or their niece or their nephew with this information, this simple information, and just try it and see what happens. And you know, they may not respond well to it the first few times, but again, like, we're their teachers. So if we're doing this, if we're incorporating something so small as just breathing when we're frustrated, I mean, they can read us, right? They see when we're upset, they'll say, mommy's sad, mommy angry. Like, they know what's going on, they're not dumb. So if we're honest about how we're feeling and we're honest about how we deal with it, and we try and model a better way for them, they're going to take that information and they're gonna internalize it and they're gonna try it, because that's what kids do. So that's my 2 cents. So now we're building on top of the breath and we are incorporating yoga, which is something that I love and I learned the hard way that I need in my life regularly. Otherwise, Kai's been watching me go off to yoga class. Sometimes he'll come and pick me up with dad from yoga class. He sees that it's a regular part of my life and my journey, and he's wanting to model it. Just as I mentioned before, that's just what kids do. Speaking of yoga, I actually did a yoga video with Kai. I will leave it up here. Check it out if you haven't already. Some easy ways to incorporate yoga moves and starting that journey to mindfulness with your child. Kai will now be found anywhere throughout the house doing downward dog. He's now trying to flip his dog. But more importantly than doing these moves, I'm going back to the basics and I'm telling him, you know, breath is what's most important. So let's breathe while you're in downward dog. Like, take that deep breath in, exhale out. And he's starting to do that too. And it's just so amazing. Like, just the awareness, right? So I'm gonna keep building on this and we'll see where it goes, where it takes us. If you're interested in more of these types of videos, let me know. Give me a thumbs up below, leave a comment. I'd love to hear how you guys are choosing to incorporate aspects of mindfulness into your day-to-day with your children. Let's all help each other out. Like, we're one big community here and it's about bringing one another up. All right, guys, I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.